All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. Um, Professional audio. Exciting. All right, now we're gonna go with this. All right, so this is a new video. It's not an old video. So I can talk about my current seniors. Although in this class there is only one current senior, and that's Ben. So I can talk about you guys being juniors, but almost seniors, because you just have one more semester to go. And I think most of you are on track to make it to your senior year, which is kind of exciting. I'm sure your parents are thrilled. All kinds of after school trips and I don't know, driving lessons and college tuition and summer experiences and I don't know what. Okay. So here we are. We have just finished up. Okay, if you guys remember previously, I really want that thing to go away and it's not. How do I get this? There we go. Go away. Go away. There we go. All right. We had just finished with the death of Priam's son. He comes in, he had been running away from Pyrrhus, and he gets slaughtered in front of his father Priam, in front of the altar, the family shrine. And I can't stress enough how devastating this is. I mean, which is to say a lot, because of course, seeing your child murdered in front of you has got to be the most devastating experience of a parent's life. It's their worst nightmare. But I don't know, there are some places that should be safe. And one of the places that should be safe is the inner part of the home. Okay. Home is supposed to be a sanctuary, it's supposed to be a safe place. So for his son not to die on the battlefield, but to in fact die in the home before his feet at the altar of their ancestors must have been like an extra layer. And so Priam is going to respond to this. Let me try to lock in this sucker. Okay, I'm going to write this out. Several of you said you couldn't follow if I didn't write it out. You probably could. You just have to go slower. Also, you guys need to remind me to bring some of the post-it notes that I have at school home. I must have 100 packs of post-it notes at home, and yet all I can find here is a giveaway pack from the FEA, and I don't like them. So, because they've got all this stuff on it. All right. So we left with Priam. Although in being held in the middle of the death does not hold back with his voice, with his anger or his voice, basically. He is pissed off, as makes sense. What's interesting is we have this dative Tibby up here. And it actually is gonna go really sort of down here to the persolvant and to the redant. Remember, verbs of giving, showing, and telling always take a dative. And persolvant here means to repay. And they are both going to go with this dative. And I know you guys are probably looking at this like, what the heck? But we can translate it okay, just right to left. And he says, but for you or to you. Okay. Pro here probably means more like on account of your scalere, wickedness. Wickedness. We're gonna go with that. Wickedness, evil, um, on account of your I'm sorry, of talibus ausis of such daring. And here daring is not good, it's positive. And then you pick up the exclamation. He shouted. All right. So, at Tibby, but for you, on account of your wickedness, on account of the talibus ausis, on account of such daring, he shouted. And we're really entering into a bunch of things, but one of the things to notice, and this is a tough one to spot, the persolvant and the redant here are both in the subjunctive. Um, and it's like, may the gods. And we then enter into this sort of subordinate clause. See the comma here and the comma here? So he's the subject here is Dei. May the gods. I need another. See, this is what I'm talking about. There's not enough space on these stupid little pieces of paper. All right. May the gods Okay, the other thing that I'm doing today, of course, is that my husband has complained that apparently I buy too many pens. I do not think this is the case. I think pens, like shoes, should be allowed to be in an infinite sort of availability, but he disagrees. So, in order to prove him wrong, I have to use them all every day. So, there we go. May the gods, if why, now it is for those of you who are like grammar people, after si, nisi, num, and ne, all the alleys fall away. So anytime you have a si, a nisi, a num, or a ne, what happens is ali qua becomes just qua. And you just have to remember that it is not a relative pronoun. And it really refers to like some people, some things, some, in this case, some gods. May the gods, if there are any, si qua est. And I know it's singular here, but I think we can just go ahead and contact this as sort of a poetic plural. They'll do that. May God, if there are any, if there is, I'm sorry, any, if there is any piety or justice, sorry, piety, in this case, piety meaning justice, which quae is referring to the pietà, which cares for such things. Okay. So may the gods, if there is any piety, if there is any, and I think he's really sort of like, if there's any god of piety, or justice which cares for such things. And of course, what he's talking about when we talk about piety, the Romans held piety not in a sort of I don't know, in a modern dutiful to the God kind of a piety. Piety was duty to your family, duty to your country, and duty to the gods. By striking a child down in front of their father at the altar, it was horribly unpious. Like there's a lot of worse things I guess you could have done, but that was definitely one of the top bad no-nos. So if there is any piety or justice, oh, whoops, I forgot in the heavens. Whoop, 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 totally forgot the Kylio. May the gods, if there is any piety in the heavens, which cares for such things. Okay, sorry, I forgot the Kylo. That means in the sky. So, but for you, on account of your wickedness, he shouted, on account of such daring, may the gods, if there is any piety in the heavens, which cares for such thing, per solvent. I need another one. So I have to change pens. Per solvent, repay. So may they repay. And this actually, you could, if you had held on to that original Tibby, so if you had just said, but on account of your wickedness and account of such daring, he shouted, and you held on to the Tibby, you could put it down here. Per solvant, repay you gratas dignas, worthy repayment, reward, thanks. Let's do thanks. Worthy, thanks. Okay. Worthy thanks and redant, return, debitia primia, debitia primia, deserved rewards. Repay you and return to you deserved rewards. Okay. Oops, can you see that? All right, so here we go with this one. So, but on account of your wickedness, on account of such daring, I'll see here not positive. It's not like, oh, you were very daring. It's more like, oh, you did not do that. Okay, so on account of your wickedness, on account of such evil daring, he shouted, may the gods, if there is any piety in the sky which cares for such things, um, repay you, gratias dignas, with worthy thanks, and return just rewards, or return to you deserved rewards. Now, of course, it's very ironic here, right? When he says just or perceived deserved rewards, we're not talking about a pile of gold and a new shiny medal. He's talking about, you just killed my son in front of me. I hope you get what you deserve. Okay. And that is kind of pitiable, right? This is sad. This is supposed to be moving. And if you have ever watched a film where the older character takes on this, I hope you get what you got coming. It is the last sort of thing that they've got, right? They've got nothing else but to hope the gods eventually avenge them. Because, and it's also again foreshadowing. Remember, we've seen several foreshadowing. He's about to die. He is too old. Hecuba's going to call, like, we know the end is nigh for Priam. In fact, he's going to die here in like the next 10 lines or so. We only go to 558, so we're cruising to the end. And the Roman audience would have known that as well. So this is, and of course, we're going at a snail's pace. The Romans would have gone a lot faster. It would have been much smoother. So this would have been a climactic buildup rather than kind of a slow roll. Okay. Okay. Now the Qui is going back to Neoptolemus, up to the TB. You who? So you who fecisti made, okay, facio facere feci factus, you who made me see, okay, it's actually an indirect statement. Well, yeah, I mean, you made me see the death um of my son, Coram, before my eyes. Uh, and actually, this isn't a direct, I made this and it's not, it's just an adverb. I think I just got into a groove, so ignore that. Okay, so you who made me see the death of my son before, oh, my eyes. Okay, and you fodasti. Fodasti, by the way, is another very nasty word for the Romans. It's a breaking of trust and of piety. It is one of the worst things that you can do. So, and you defiled, God, I hope I spelled that right. You defiled a patrios vultus, a father's face. Funere literally means funeral, but probably means body. A father's face with a funeral, i.e., corpse. Okay. Because it's a dead body. I mean, I really, it's dark, but that's what it is. His son is dead. His son just gushed blood out and his life. Remember, we saw that in just the lines before this. I don't know where they are right now. All right, but remember, he poured out his life with much blood, and that was just 10 lines above. Not even 10 lines, 5 lines above. Okay. Oh, I lied. 2 lines above. It's right there. All right, so he falls and he pours out his life with much blood. And then Priam instantly claps back with this angry voice. And it's funny that Virgil gives you like these 2 lines before he starts to shout. And it's almost like Priam, shocked and horrified, looks at his son, takes a beat to just recognize what happened, takes in a breath, and just lets Neoptolemus have it. And now he's calling him all kinds of evil things. And it's actually going to go on for another 4 lines here. And that's what you guys should be doing, I believe, for homework. I asked you to go, I don't remember where I asked you to stop. Probably 443-ish. 443 sounds right. So guys, I've given you the markups for that. So you should have the markups for that. All right. So you guys are now here. He basically keeps going on Neoptolemus and telling Neoptolemus what a complete butthole he is, and how he is dishonoring the memory of his father Achilles. Because don't forget, we had that scene where Achilles and Priam had met on the battlefield, and Priam begged for his son's body back. And he and Achilles had like that sort of touching hallmark moment where they connected, and Achilles let Priam go back to the palace with his son's body and then proceeded to, die by Paris's hand. It gets complicated. But for that moment, they both recognized that in this war, both sides had losses, and those losses deserve to be respected. And those respectful motions are of, funerals and burials. Even you look back, was it World War I and World War II? There were days of ceasefire on both sides so that both sides could come gather their dead and bury them. Like there is this time honored, deeply impacted, like human part of us that needs to care for those who have died, especially those who have died on the battlefield. And Neoptolemus is just pooing all over that. I know, weird word. Okay, so that's it. I'm done with this. If you guys have questions, let me know. Make the next 4 lines on your own. You can do this. I want to see some good work out of you. All right. I can't remember if I told you guys you have a quiz next time or not. You can let me know. All right. Bye.